This DePIN miner might be my new best crypto miner. The project behind this miner is collaborating with Nvidia, and they are already making millions in revenue. The current miner earnings are great, and the miner requires almost no power at all, does not make a sound, and is perfect to have at home for passive income. In this video, I'll review the Aethir Edge. I will explain what Aethir does, what the device is, the setup, its earnings, and the best part at the end where I share my thoughts why this could become the best miner to get into right now. But of course, nothing I say is financial advice, everything in this sector is speculative. I got this device from Helium Deploy, and if you're interested in getting one after seeing this video, you can find the links and discounts to that in the video description below. Let's start off with what is Aethir. Aethir is a project building a global decentralized GPU computing cloud, a cloud network that any AI or gaming company can tap into whenever they want for computing power to run their games or AI programs. This is similar to how Render Network, another big project, use a decentralized computing network for rendering power. And it's understandable why we're seeing this increase in companies offering computing power, due to we're seeing this exponential increase in demand for it right now, mainly due to the rise of AI. And now when AI tools and programs are becoming more and more complex, they also need more and more computing power. And the world is at the same time not seeing an exponential increase in GPU manufacturing. And many big companies like Meta and Google are buying up all the GPUs and computing hardware on the market. So this makes it difficult for small and medium-sized AI and gaming companies to get enough computing power. And that is exactly where Aethir comes in and can help, where they can provide compute through their decentralized network to anyone in the world in a cheap way. And Aethir are actually already doing this to more than 10 plus gaming studios, because they already have more than 42,000 enterprise-grade GPUs and 3,000 or 4,000 Nvidia H100 GPUs running, which are extremely efficient hardware. So Aethir provides on-demand compute on a global scale. And the difference between Aethir and other computing networks like Render is that they are doing it only with enterprise-grade GPUs. And that is because they want their computing network to be as trusted as it can be regarding uptime and performance, which makes their service more attractive to large companies that need that kind of trust. The second issue Aethir solves is related to gaming. Gaming today often require expensive hardware, but there are hundreds of millions of gamers in the world that does not have an expensive gaming PC and therefore can't play these high resolution games. But through the Aethir cloud, Aethir are looking to make it possible for anyone to play any sort of game by streaming the computing power from the cloud network to the user, so the gamer themselves does not need to have any processing capability on their device. The gamer can have an old, low-performance phone or computer, but will still be able to play all those games through the Aethir cloud. And when an AI company or a gaming user are using the computing cloud, they need to buy that service using the ATH token, the Aethir token, so that gives the token a clear utility there. So what is the Aethir Edge miner? The Aethir Edge is not meant to be a hardcore GPU that provides large amounts of compute, which is easily seen when looking at the specs. The Aethir Edge is made to decentralize and spread out the computing workload to as close to the Aethir network users as possible to mainly minimize latency. So what does that mean? Well, when you ask an AI robot or ChatGPT, it usually takes a second before the AI gives you an answer. And that small pause right there is the latency. And for future robots or real-time AI tools, there needs to be solutions to minimize that kind of latency to as little as possible. And that is a big part of what the Aethir Edge is made for. Because when there are edge nodes like the Aethir Edge closer to the users, it helps them to minimize this latency. So due to this latency issue being solved by having these devices in closer proximity to the user, Aethir wants people all over the world to have these Aethir Edge devices, spread them out as much as possible. And that is why they have made this device to be as simple to use as possible, to use as little electric power as possible, so that literally anyone in the world could be able to have one of these devices at home, earn passive income from it, whilst helping their network. And there are no kinds of limits to how many of these Aethir Edge devices we can have at home at the same time. Aside from the Aethir Edge minimizing user latency, it's also said to give network users reduced bandwidth usage. The node will relay data, store information, and also run applications. So far, Aethir already have about 150 people working in the team. Aethir have also already done one of the biggest node sales in history, where they sold nodes worth $150 million. And they are also partners with some of the biggest AI and gaming companies in the world. And due to this, they have already made more than $36 million in revenue from that in 2024 so far. So it seems it's really going great for them. Here's a 1-minute overview of how to set up the Aethir Edge. It's very simple to set up, it's a plug-and-play miner where we just need to plug in an Ethernet cable and power. But to start this miner, we also need to make a stake of ATH tokens. It's only a stake, so we'll be able to get back the ATH tokens later if we want. This token stake is made on the Arbitrum network using the wallet that is automatically created when we sign up using an email. After signing up, we can then access our account from any device by logging into this page using the same email. Here we can then add the device, scan this QR code. So I will continue with the setup process using my computer going forward from here. And we automatically get a wallet, which we can see here. To be able to stake and handle our wallet rewards that we will get from the miner, the easiest way is to import our wallet private key into our MetaMask wallet, where we can easily handle everything on the Arbitrum network. Once we have imported the wallet, we just need some Ethereum in the wallet on the Arbitrum network for the transaction fees, so about $10 worth will be more than enough. Then we want to swap ourselves enough ATH tokens for the stake, which you can see by going here. But you need to check how many tokens you need yourself, because this amount might change in the future. The easiest place to swap and get ATH tokens are on Uniswap. Just make sure you are doing it on the Arbitrum network. So I swap here on another wallet with about $140 worth for ATH tokens, and then I send over these ATH tokens to my new wallet I just imported, and I also renamed this wallet to easily keep track of it. And then I can just perform the stake by clicking these buttons here, and then we're done. To see the ATH tokens in our MetaMask wallet, we simply just copy the ATH token contract address and import the token into our wallet. I will leave the token contract address and all the links to the setup page Uniswap in the description below. The Aethir Edge earnings. The Aethir Edge earns the ATH token, and what is quite optimistic is that 23% of the ATH token supply will go towards Aethir Edge users, which is quite a large amount. This to me shows that Aethir are for sure prioritizing these devices as a key part of their decentralized network. With the Aethir Edge, we get the ATH tokens rewards daily. The earnings are currently set to 100 tokens per day per miner, which is currently worth around this much per day when looking at the current dollar value of the ATH token. However, we are only able to access 30% of the rewarded tokens we mine right away. Another 30% of the mine tokens will be first available to get after 90 days, and the last 40% we'll get after 180 days. And that entire process of token vesting, as it's called, is fully automated, so we will get access to our mine tokens whenever enough time have passed. So it's an interesting approach of distributing rewards in this way in order to stabilize the token price and its emissions over time. And later on I've heard that the Aethir Edge nodes that are performing tasks for cloud users will be rewarded with the ATH token, but that perhaps comes later down the road. But it also indicates that the ATH token rewards with the Aethir Edge miner can change in the future, so keep that in mind. Final thoughts and comparison with the render network. So what are my final thoughts on the Aethir Edge and how do they look in comparison with render? The big thing I first want to highlight is that the company Aethir are already making a large amount of revenue. Their entire concept is already up and working, and they got huge funding and probably some of the best partnerships and collaborations within this sector. I would say it's very rare that we see a project launching a miner at this stage when they are already performing so well. I can only see that as a positive from a mining standpoint. So I believe if Aethir just continues to perform well, have cloud users buying the ATH token to use their computing cloud, and they just continue to grow, this project Aethir could become a really good investment over time. This is of course not financial advice and just my thoughts. From a user standpoint, this device was very easy to set up. It does not make any noise at all and it runs using almost no power at all. So this might just be the best crypto miner right now, both in terms of easy to use for beginners, earnings, and potential of good return as the project grows. I really love when a device is able to earn me tokens without me needing to spend time updating and doing stuff with it, and it can simply sit in the corner of my room. But let's put in perspective of how much compute Aethir actually have and compare it with a render network, and I think you're going to like this. Render is currently a $4 billion project, and they got around the computing power of 1,250 4090 GPUs currently. And this data will not be that accurate, since Render does not have the data on how many GPUs are running on their network, but instead they got the total computing power number, which I can then divide by the computing power of a 4090 GPU, which ultimately give me these numbers, according to the Render Discord. And when just putting that in comparison with Aethir's 3000 or 4000 H100 GPUs, GPUs, where each H100 is much stronger than a 4090, and on top of that they have an additional 42,000 enterprise-grade GPUs. So the difference in computing power here is a lot. It's far beyond 5 times more. It's probably closer to 10 or 20 times more computing power. So the fact that Aethir got so much more compute, enterprise-grade GPUs that can be trusted by large companies, already more than 10 gaming studios running on their network, it's quite breathtaking to compare the market caps of these two projects. Of course, there is a lot more behind the reason why some projects have higher market caps than others, but for a computing network, the amount of compute, real-world usage, and revenue, I would say are on the top of the list of importance.
And keep in mind, if the market cap of Aethir currently were to double, so will the miner earnings in dollar value. So if we were to see Aethir at a $2 billion market cap, half of that what Render have, the miner earnings in dollar value would be 5 or even 6 times higher than now.
So it will be very interesting to see how Aethir will continue to perform during the upcoming years, and I'm currently thinking of getting more of these Aethir Edge miners actually. And if you're interested in the Aethir Edge miner as well, you can find the links and discounts to it down in the video description below.